All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Season 5, Episode 21 of The Twilight Zone.
The zone just keeps on twilighting, my dude.
I would argue the opposite.
Okay.
I would say we're less and less twilighting.
Yes.
And we're in a zone.
You might say we're in the twilight zone the Twilight Zone.
We're like in the auto zone part of the Twilight Zone. Where
Yeah.
It's not, there's a line and you wait and then they overcharge you, but there's not actually a twist.
The twilight of the career, like you're like, oh, they could have made the Twilight Zone forever. How many seasons are there? Oh, something weird happened in season 4, and then there's a 5th season that's kind of back like the first 3. This is kind of weird. Let's dig in. Oh, now I see what happened. They were just like, fucking just do it, fucking throw them out. Should we talk about the episode?
Let's talk about the episodes. Where does it start?
It starts, okay, like, it's so weird, because part of the Twilight Zone, which I should have said after. Just cut this. Just leave it all in. I don't give a fuck. You're in charge of this. The Twilight Zone is partially about relatable situations or extreme situations that you can put yourself in. Oh,
this is that.
Well, but I mean like a spaceman who like meets like an alien and they seem friendly but they're not. It's like, oh, it's so like fantastical or whatever, right? Or it's like you're just a dude and like you get powers or like something happens or the Earth is moving farther away from the sun, whatever, right? It's like normal or it's like crazy or whatever. This, like, you have to be able to relate to like a rich woman that would have a horse.
I have been known to be a rich woman with a horse with multiple suitors.
Yes.
And I found myself being chased.
You saw yourself
I didn't know it was me at the time.
You would say that you saw yourself in this episode? Yeah, no, sorry. This episode is like a woman gets on a horse, starts riding. She sees another woman who's dressed in black on a black horse. She's dressed in white on a white horse. Because this is thematic or something. I don't know what they're going for. And like the other woman screams like a banshee and then chases her on the horse.
That's where the episode falls apart.
30 seconds in?
More or less.
Nice.
Because like you kind of know what's happening.
I was like, that's just her. Is the twist that it's her? The twist can't be that it's her. What else will happen?
The issue is in order to make it into a show, you had to have it like, oh, I'm being chased by some scary something or other. And it couldn't have been like, wait, I'm you, dearie. Hello. Or, like if she would have just waved from the top, she probably would have been like, and then like, oh, who's that? Let me go meet her. But instead she like, like charges down. No, literally. And this happens more than once.
Well, and like they just reuse the footage, and it kind of feels like, and then Rod kind of implies that they're in a loop. Like this again is one of those episodes where they were just like, what do we have filmed? We gotta go, man. Just get something. Just go. Just do it. Just make it work.
Well, because conceptually being chased by an older version of you, like I'm like, I could see a situation where that could work, but it doesn't work if you're not like much older that you can't tell it's you anymore, or like something.
So what they did is, and I apologize to this lady, but they picked an actress who I guess must have been like 30. And then they just pretended, like Rod Serling's like, Vanessa whoever, age 18. And I'm like, she's not 18. You're a crazy person. And then her older self is just like caked on, like dumb, like looks like a horrible version of herself. This weird, which they've done before, which is fine. When you see the suitor
that's probably the way
old,
to do it in like the 60s, is that like, because you're not going to pick an 18-year-old and make her look old enough then, probably. Yes, maybe certain characters could do it, but then it would be like, well, why'd you pick that character anyway? Right. They look too old in the first place. So you need someone that's like, oh, you kind of can do it, but I would have changed the body a little bit or done something. Like it didn't sell, and the fact that they're trying to make like oh, you're forcing the trip here, like you're trying to make it this thing that it really isn't, because it doesn't make sense. So the reason it's scary is because they had to make it scary, and that's why it doesn't work, because she wouldn't have done it that way. Why would she ever approach her? Like, hey, when I was 18, if someone ran down a mountain like they were the people from Lord of the Rings coming to save the day, I'd probably run away. Yeah. Like, maybe write myself a letter, because I seem to be drifting in and out of this time period. Maybe I just tack it and leave it on the center of the road where I know she'll walk past it.
Part of the point that Rod's like paper over it in a lot of cases, including this one, part of the point he's trying to make is that like, what she's doing like wouldn't work, because like the old her even like remembers the encounter with the old her when she was the young her. So there's this implication that it's a loop, that it's like one of the points of at least the book The Time Machine was that he can't ever go back and save his wife, I guess, or girlfriend, whatever, because he wouldn't create the time machine. He wouldn't be motivated enough unless she died. So it's this weird thing, right? But to your point, she remembers the scary lady.
Yeah.
However, 25 years ago. So you would think that either the episode has to provide us a justification for why she has to do it like that, or it's very obvious that she would say, "Oh, I should approach it differently this time."
Yeah.
And then Rod just goes, "The warnings from the future must be heeded in the past, and there's no way to like whatever the fuck." Yeah.
No, classic bad Twilight Zone episode.
Basically, yeah. On top of that. So just to fill out everything, right? You mentioned the multiple suitors.
Yes.
Scary lady chases her down. She comes home. She's crying. Her like Herb, like square, soon to be fiance, husband, person, whatever. He's like, "Oh, did she say call off the engagement or something like that?" She's like, "That's not funny, Robert or whatever."
Yeah.
And then like, the cool guy shows up who she really loves, and it's this awkward thing, and the dad pulls a gun. We spend way too long on this scene.
The real twist is that the nice guy is the bad one.
Well, so the premise is, again, and we had an episode like this a few episodes ago, where I'm trying not to read too much into it, but there's nothing else there. So I have to be like, why are you making an episode where the point of it is you should marry the boring guy, or else you'll end up an old hag or something? So I'm an alcoholic, sterile waste of a lady, shell of a woman.
Well, now it's you should marry for love, or else you'll end up in an abusive relationship.
Well, like, how are those both like? Well, no, she marries the guy who she loves, right? That's the whole point.
Oh, did I forget which guy was which? I thought the twist was that she ended up marrying the one that she was supposed to marry.
No, well, no.
I must have just mixed up the two idiots in my head.
Real quick, so she has bad old makeup. Her old makeup looks amazing compared to he has a beard that looks like they used Sharpie to like put it on. He's so bad looking as like old him, and like weird under the eyes, like trying to give him like lines under the eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that this is this. Maybe I've like misinterpreted it too.
That was actually his father.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually just he is an old guy and they made him look young. It's brilliant. No, like. It looked so bad that I don't blame you, but they show her like running in like the courtyard up, and she hugs the blonde-haired dude.
Yes.
And goes, "Oh, make me happy, love me, whatever." And like then they leave.
That's why I was like, "Oh, the twist was she didn't end up going with him."
No. The like twist is just that you shouldn't marry for love. What if he's from a bad background and he's from like the wrong side of the tracks? You should marry the person your father picked, which is like. I don't what? Like, why would that be the point of an episode? That's
it's even worse than I thought. I was like, oh, there was at least some twist. There was no twist.
Yes.
Episode's bad.
And again, even just by flipping them that little way, even just implying, like, maybe the whole time you think she's trying to say, no, marry the guy dad picked. He was the good one. My life's in shambles. And then we have a reveal that it was the guy her father picked, right? And it was just this, oh, audience member, you made this bad assumption and we're trying to turn it on its head. But now they made an episode where in like the late 60s, early 70s, that's the assumption people would have had. There's no twist.
No.
The whole thing is like, don't be an idiot, marry the guy with the stable job or whatever, right? So there's absolutely no misdirection, twist, mindfuck element anywhere in the entire episode. It's
just
boring,
bad.
It's awful, and the whole end just reuses the footage from the beginning.
Yeah.
So she cackles like a banshee again, and they run after each other.
As you do.
It's so dumb.
That scream too, it's like, I'm like, what even is that? What was the stage direction? Okay, so you're going to see yourself down there, and then, like, do you have, like, a hideous scream? Yeah, let's get that.
Can we use the most hideous scream you have? So I watch with subtitles on, too.
What does it say for that scream?
She's saying Anne. She's saying her name. Anne! That's what she said.
Oh, that didn't come across to me.
I know.
Or I'm sure her.
It didn't come across to me either. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just in the subtitles, Anne. That's what that says while she's screaming.
I was picturing it would say something like demonic cackle.
Yeah. Like screeching from hell or whatever.
She was saying Anne?
Apparently.
My God, that didn't come across.
Nope.
Do another take. What are you doing?
I don't know. And like, is that the point? I'm wasting my life thinking about the episode because I'm like, was that the point? Is it like a tragic misunderstanding? Because they didn't really show her being so emotional that she couldn't approach her former self calmly, right? To kind of mimic how she was too emotional to like marry the right guy. But again, I'm getting way too far off into trying to come up with some meaning behind this, where I think they were just like, listen, we gotta do 30 of these, fuck it, just do it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more short stories? We're getting short stories from the local high school now, sir. Keep going. Get them from middle schoolers. Just keep going. Just keep putting the short sci-fi, fantasy, twist ending. Is there a twist? Have Rod say something about like the past, the future, whatever. He's drunk. Just do it. Just go. Right? It's crazy to me how, like, compared to the best episodes, what some of these episodes are coming out as, is my point.
Now, when you compare this to like the doppelganger in the vestibule,
you love that episode. I know,
that was
exactly.
Great. And that had had a similar thing where it's like, the same person, different ends and means to it. But like that episode, really good. Or like the episode with the disappearing spacemen. Like certain things make like you're like, dude, you should have just never done those episodes because they set your bar so high that it makes everything else look like shit. And when things are actually shit, it makes them look like so much worse than shit. And you're like, what's worse than shit? I'm like, this episode of Twilight Zone.
I say the opposite, where they shouldn't have made these bad ones at the end. They should have just made the good ones.
Well, I think the difference is, though, is if you never had like the elevated good ones, the rest of these might be like, oh, that was fine.
Hey, we're fine.
Like, if we never had...
I only want one good episode.
Of course.
The best episode. No, but this is why when people do redos of the Twilight Zone or anthologies of like the Twilight Zone, or they recount the best things like we're doing right now, you end up with like 12 to 25 things. And then you're kind of reaching. You're like, oh, there was the one where everybody was standing still and they were like, oh, do you want to be a part of my museum or some, I don't know what that one, right? It starts to get kind of, that one was fine, right?
It's such a wild difference between quality and scripts and acting in different ones. And I guess that's true in most, shows, but it feels so much harsher in a time where you're like, oh, cool, great monologue, great acting, they got it in one shot, interesting practical effects, just dirty shit.
Yeah, we would have, like we have in the past, we've like praised them to be like, oh, you're shooting on film, you're doing this brutal schedule, everyone's got to learn their lines, everyone's got to do all their stuff right. He just breaks that window. You got to reset that every time. This is TV. This is 1968. What the hell, right? But no.
I think 1962.
Whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I assume they filmed for like the series went on or whatever. So I've been slowly creeping my year up to like start trying to stay current. But no, yeah, it's shocking. It's sad. This is not a good episode.
No, I think it's 59 to 64.
Is that the range of the whole show?
I think that's the whole show.
They cranked them out. Like, that's admirable.
Oh yeah.
And you see all these stars that later we like knew from like old movies or like famous, like as an old man he did this, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
And you see them in their little form. Kirk's in two of them, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Shatner. So I don't know, man.
No, there's good stuff. This is bad stuff.
Exactly.
That's what we think about this episode, guys. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.